Hola, bienvenidos to my channel. Yo me llamo Kelly and this is Adventures in Spanish. And in today's video, you're going to learn how to ask a question in español. ¿Listo? Vamos. Okay, so I'm going to teach you today in this lesson 3 different ways to ask a question in español. So of course, unless all of your conversations are going to be one-sided, then, I suppose you could be practicing your Spanish with a cat or a dog. You're going to need to know how to ask questions. And the great news is that in español, it's much easier to learn how to form a question in español than it is in English. Okay, that's probably why a lot of Spanish speakers find it difficult to learn English. But anyway, so the first way that you can form a question in español is by quite simply switching the verb and the subject. So in this example, I've got, I'm using Juan as my subject, and that Juan can cook. The verb to cook is cocinar. So if I want to say that Juan cooks, I simply say Juan cocina. Juan cocina is an affirmative sentence saying that Juan cooks. See? Now, if I want to make that sentence into a question, I simply switch the order of my subject and my verb. So it becomes cocina Juan. See? Very simple, right? But if I just simply say cocina Juan, it doesn't sound much like a question. So the second way to form a question in español is by using that rising intonation. So my affirmative sentence of Juan cocina changed to cocina Juan. If I rise my intonation at the end, it becomes a question. Cocina Juan? Cocina Juan? Can you see that that is now a question, and it literally means, does Juan cook? Bien. Notice that there is no does in español. The doesn't exist. So you don't need to look through the dictionary to try and find the word does. It simply doesn't exist in español. This is a really, really important grammatical lesson. The does not exist. So to form a question, the first way of doing it is by switching the verb and the subject and adding that little bit of rising intonation at the end. So, cocina Juan. And you can do it with anything. Let's use a different subject. I don't know. Let's try Miguel and that Miguel sings. So Miguel canta is my affirmative sentence, Miguel canta. If I want to turn that into a question, switching my subject and my verb becomes canta Miguel. See? It's good, isn't it? Okay, and the third thing that you need to do to form a question in español, especially when it's written, well, it doesn't matter at all actually when you're speaking because you won't see it. But when you're writing a question in español, we have our normal question mark at the end to show that it's a question. But in español, we have an upside down question mark at the beginning also. So my affirmative sentence that was Miguel canta, yeah, Miguel sings, becomes canta Miguel, with my rising intonation, my upside down question mark at the beginning and my normal question mark at the end. So there you go. A very, very easy way to form a question in español. So the third and final way to ask a question in español is a bit of a cheaty one really. You leave your sentence as it is. So we had Juan canta. No, we didn't. We had Juan, what did we have? Juan cocina, that was it. Juan cocina and Miguel canta. See? And rather than having to remember to switch the subject and the verb, you can simply leave that sentence as it is. So let's take Miguel and his singing. Yeah, so Miguel canta becomes Miguel canta, no? Miguel canta, no? Or Miguel canta, ¿verdad? Or Miguel canta, ¿es cierto? So you can leave your sentence as it is and just add those question tags at the end. So we have no, ¿verdad? ¿Es cierto? So there we go, 3 ways for you to form a question in Espanol. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.